one of those up there.
Mhm.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Upper Deck Versus System 2PCG Quarantine Cup Top 8, where you've decided to jump in and get a couple guys together to show off the top 8 builds from the Quarantine Cup. We have got Nick and David joining us this week. As always, I'm joined by Caleb C. Stacks. Caleb, how you doing?
I'm great. Thanks for having me on again.
Absolutely. And as always, just in case somebody has not joined us before, do you want us to go over what the Quarantine Cup is, since it's your?
Yeah, it's just an online tournament we've been doing. While people are at home and looking to play some games. So we got people from all over the country, all over the world, playing in various formats. So this is top 8 now. We did 6 rounds of Swiss, and now we're in top 8, which is good versus evil format, and it's been a blast so far.
So, what were the other style of formats you guys did throughout?
Yeah, so the first rounds 1 and 2, we did the Cosmic Battles format, which is like the outer space themed one. And then rounds 3 and 4, we did For Fox's Sake, which is all Fox cards, but you can mix photo and illustrated cards. So Alien, Predator, Buffy, and X Files. That format was a lot of fun. And then rounds 5 and 6, we did the Ladies' Night format, female fight night, where all your characters in your deck and your main character have to be ladies.
And I do remember from the ladies' fight night, David was one of the ones that we showed off, and he had a pretty unique death deck with with no cards that had superpowers in them.
Yeah, that's right. He had that really cool death deck that beat Madam Hydra, I believe. Was an interesting match.
Yeah, that was the one that almost came down to a stale.
Yep, that's right.
Alrighty, well, let's get these guys started. This is going to be a best of 3, so it's not going to be the first winner. In case somebody does happen to drop one, they do have a chance of coming back and winning the next 2. So get yourself comfortable. This could be a long stream, but we're going to have some fun, and we're going to see some pretty interesting decks.
Yep, that's right. Now, hopefully they know they can go ahead and start.
Hey guys, we're ready to go. So whenever you want to, go ahead and have some fun. Again, once we're done, we'll go ahead and jump back in and discuss a few things. So good luck to both of you.
Mhm.
Sounds good. Good luck, man.
All right, looks like we've got ourselves a Mantle Hulk from Nick and a brand new Spider-Man, the MCU hero side.
Yep, and I believe David will be going first with Spider-Man there. He's the higher seed, so he can choose to go first if he wants to.
All right.
Now, what kind of builds would you expect out of these 2 decks?
I've actually got their deck list in front of me. I can take a look. Obviously, the Spider-Man deck is super location heavy because Spider-Man wants those locations. He's got a lot of locations. It's something like 24 or something locations in the deck. Very location heavy build. Let me see if I can pull up these lists here.
But like everything I brought was like just stuff that I kind of built tangentially beforehand.
Right.
And then I was like,
4, 8, 16.
like with some tweaks, obviously, right? But yeah,
26 locations, I believe, in the Spider-Man deck. He's got the Sokovia Accords in there to potentially counter any big counters that the Mantle Hulk might get. So he's got some outs there. But very location-heavy deck from Spider-Man, as you would expect. And then let's look at the...
all right.
Okay, so we've got my favorite type of deck here from Nick. He's got Might Makes Right and Gargoyle in there, which photo decks can sometimes have a lot of trouble dealing with. He's going to want to find the Sokovia Accord if Nick sees Might Makes Right Gargoyle. Yeah.
Well, and they're also both playing good. So David's got himself the friend from work, so he's got
That's
an
right.
extra.
Yeah, he's got the canceled because all the characters are guaranteed to be good because we're in good versus evil. So those are even better in this match.
And then I will swing into Hulk for 7.
7.
All right, let's pull this back up. So we saw the turn 1 Aunt May. Wow, that's great. He didn't even have to use Heimdall to bring it out or anything like that. No Heimdall on his list, which is interesting.
Yeah, that's a one of a kind card. So to be able to pull that in an opening hand, or even in an opening hand is.
Yeah, I didn't even see if he had a mulligan for it or not. I assume probably he did. But that's a great turn 1 from David there. He got a location for the climb and the XP, and then he got the Aunt May, the May Parker, to make his Spider-Man +3/+3. So that with the counter makes Spider-Man a 7, I believe. So that's a big Spider-Man there now.
Yeah, 7/7 on the first.
Yeah, Nick was able to get the cancel though with the fallback, so he got his XP for drawing because he canceled the combat, which is good.
I'm gonna play Avenger Tower.
At a second location, I don't think we're going to be seeing any. I don't think Spider-Man is going to have any trouble finding the locations and leveling this game. That's sometimes a concern with Spider-Man. He's got to see 4 different locations to level up, but with 26 locations in the deck, I think that's not really a concern. We see 2-drop Tony Stark there.
That's a different location, so that's the second experience.
Another climb from Spider-Man, so 2 XP and 2 counters.
Into Hulk.
And he's up to an 8/8.
It's a big Spider-Man. And no kind of dodge from Nick that time. He's going to take it.
The Spider-Man, the Tony Stark, and the May Parker are all new cards that were just released in February in the Friendly Neighborhood.
It give me another 3/3.
Yeah, I love that Tony Stark card too. Genius is one of my favorite keywords.
Nice card, card drawing.
Ooh, match. That's great. Ooh, and I see him flipping a location. We're going to see a Might Makes Right? We do. Very powerful combination there that could swing the game back towards Nick. So Might Makes Right to pay the green and put 4 +1 counters on match. When match strikes, he puts -1s equal to his attack. So as it stands, without any plot twist or anything, that's enough -1 counters coming Spider-Man's way to stun him. So get in there for the stun on Spider-Man, and then maybe swing in and get rid of that May Parker. Could be a big swing and advantage for Nick. And it looks like, let's see, does David have the friend from work or Sokovia Accords? Okay, there's friend from work. Yeah. Yep, great card to have right there.
So I'll draw 2 and then 1 for Genius.
And that's it from Nick.
So again, 3.
And the Genius trigger off Tony Stark is going to draw David an extra card. This game's looking pretty good for David so far. Especially if he can get rid of that match this turn so he doesn't have to try to deal with it again next turn. Be really strong.
Laboratory.
Okay.
There's a third type.
At the third location.
And then I will goose your match.
And a goose. Okay, yep. So that's going to take care of match.
Oh, yeah, that's fine. Yeah,
Goose is going to come out paying 2 recruit points and is going to eat match into the internal pocket dimension that Goose has. Really rough. I think Nick really needed that match to stick. Then Spider-Man's going to climb the third time, third counter, and a third XP. A 9/9 Spider-Man. And Nick is going to take his second wound.
Yeah, Spider-Man just needs 1 more XP to get up to that level.
And he'll be huge at level 2 and have a whole suite of great superpowers or keyword powers to choose from at level 2.
We're gonna play the Sharon Carter trigger.
Okay.
Sharon Carter makes an appearance.
Carter. Going to Agent for 1 and then draw a card, which will be an XP for Hulk. Only 2 XP though.
Okay.
Hulk needs 8 XP to flip to level 2. And that's it. That's all he's got. Looking rough for Nick.
Yeah, Hulk does have his main ability, Brains and Brawn, but it's going to cost him 2 locations to do that, and he's not. Oh, he's showing one of these.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, but fourth location from Spider-Man there. So Spider-Man will flip this turn. See what else he's got.
Hold on. Actually,
Yeah, David got real lucky having that many locations in the deck. You run the risk of just drowning in locations.
Yeah, absolutely. That's
That
why
means like
one
this
reason I
big
was surprised
climb,
not to
attack
see
on the button.
Heimdall, which can kind of fix some of those hands. And Heimdall increases your chances of getting that turn one May Parker. But I guess he just really wanted to jam as many locations in the deck as possible, so you can always get that turn
We're
four
gonna say
flip. You don't want to brick on the
Morita
location
Heal
side of
into
things.
Sharon Carter.
So Spider-Man
Yeah.
flips into level
Get
2.
Carter.
He's got 4 counters, so
Yeah.
that's a 10-10 Spider-Man.
And then Spider-Man into the Hulk.
I'm gonna fall back.
Yeah, it's a big board versus a single guy.
Oh, and fall back to try to dodge
I
that
have
wound.
nothing else. And
That's
I
pretty
will
good
pass
because
turn.
he's just got a bunch of little guys
I'll
left.
put the cards to get an XP.
Okay.
So Hulk manages to not take a wound that turn, and finally gonna get that third XP for drawing.
Play that face down.
We're on turn 4 here. We could see a stick. Christie is in this deck as an anti-outrider tech. Yeah, so there's
Okay.
Christie. A lot of the players were expecting to see Outriders in top 8, so a lot of these decks are teched out to beat Outrider, and none showed up. So Christie doesn't do much here, but he is a
That's good.
6 range attacker, which is nothing to sneeze at.
Goose.
Yeah, I was curious why he kept Goose out front.
Heal
Yeah, I
to
think
4.
Okay.
I think you would want to move Goose to the back and not give him that match back,
Draw
if
3.
at all possible.
1,
Yeah,
4,
so he
2.
had to spend a friend from work in order to block that attack on.
Ready in.
Yeah. So we did see another friend from work come down. That's right. Yeah.
I'm gonna play Avengers Tower to have Spider-Man strike Hulk.
So that Avengers Tower is going to let him choose any tower on Spider-Man.
He's having him strike Hulk.
Could have been a strike. Could have been
I'm gonna recruit
3
Dana
minus counters.
Scully.
Either one will do it, I think. Dana Scully comes down, which is a great card. Doesn't do anything at the moment because you don't have any wounds, which I guess is a good thing. He's far ahead. But she's a 3/5.
I'm gonna paraglide.
Go to Paraglide, which is climb with upside.
And then
So
we're
he's
gonna
got
put,
gets a +1
Christie
counter
with
and gains flight
Spider-Man.
this turn.
13. And then pass
Taking out
turn.
Christie
1,
with
2,
like an
3,
11/11
4, 5, 6
Spider-Man.
in hand.
So moving Goose to the back this time, protecting
There
him
you
with
go.
a big Spider-Man and 5 defense on Dana Scully there.
So we got Hulk with 3 wounds, Spider-Man with none.
Yeah,
So
not good for Hulk here.
it's not looking good, but hopefully Nix has got something he can.
Yeah, that turn 1 May Parker
Okay.
to make Spider-Man big, followed by the turn 2 Tony Stark to
Yeah.
keep loading your hand up, and managing to fend off that match. Just a great lineup for David this game.
Hulk finds himself his 4th XP, so he's halfway home.
We'll go to Maine.
Okay.
I'm gonna have Dinosaur fly over and hit May Parker.
So Dinosaur is
good. I
going to
had no
swing
answer for
in,
that.
flying over into Aunt May.
Yeah, he's definitely going to need to target that and try and drop those +3 off.
Yep.
So that makes
Even without Aunt May, Spider-Man is still pretty big by this point. Aunt May's pretty much done her job already. And David's got a lot of cards in his hand. That Tony Stark is keeping him up. Ooh, okay. 2 power-ups.
Couple calls.
Okay.
Yep. So we're at 6 XP out of 8. And then, yeah, so by paying the yellow and the green to draw a card and put a +1 counter on it, that's 2 XP. That's enough to level. And with May Parker out of the way, he might just be able to get to Spider-Man this turn. So 4 +1 counters. He's a 10 to Spider-Man's, I believe, 10.
Yeah, getting 4 XP in a single turn is impressive.
Yeah.
He's going for Scully.
Going for Scully. Okay.
Drawing 3 for Genius.
Yeah, he's pulling a lot of cards with that Tony Stark and his Genius.
Oh yeah. And Nick had to burn through a lot of cards last turn to get that level. And David just keeps drawing 3 cards a turn.
He keeps playing those academies, and so he's able to keep striking Hulk.
Yep. Yeah, being able to stun Hulk without having to swing in, making those safe stuns is great. No recruits though. Again, it's kind of the downside of having such a location-heavy deck.
I'm gonna play Bob
Um,
Scully.
Oh,
I
okay.
don't know,
I
man.
thought
Yeah,
he
he seems to be finding what he needs.
And then
Yeah, absolutely. And he does recruit another Scully. I thought he passed his turn, but no. And there's the Paraglide for the another
Yes.
counter and flight.
going to Dinosaur.
Yeah.
Pass turn.
All right, now we're passing.
Play that
Man,
green.
he's got to get those counters off Spider-Man somehow. It's gonna get harder and harder. Cersei might do it.
Let's shoot Spider-Man.
That's
Cersei's
good.
gonna try to bring Spider-Man down, and it looks like it's still.
Max Scully.
Yep, that definitely helped.
That's good.
Pass.
And taking
then-
out Dana.
Drawing 3.
Yeah.
Yep.
3 more cards for David, though. Looking at 4 wounds on Hulk.
So put
He's
7
got 2 to
down.
give.
Yeah, they're both sitting at 6/6.
Yep, so a yellow this turn will allow him to strike without even entering
So I'm gonna play
combat, make a
Fortress.
safe stun.
So put 3+1/+1 on
A
Spider-Man.
green, what does the green do? Puts counters on Spider-Man, I believe.
Yeah,
That's-
3
yeah,
plus 3+1/+1.
I'm gonna play a Fox.
That could do it as well, and he'll have the Paraglide. Molder,
And he's
love
got
that.
himself Molder. Wow, that's a big card.
It's a great
I'm
card.
going,
Not showing any yellows
Paraglide.
currently for Molder. He could maybe pitch something from hand.
I'm gonna play an X-File from hand. Going to the main to call Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh.
Yep, so he's going to pitch
Gilgamesh.
the X-Files.
Gilgamesh in hands. I have a baby
See,
Avenger,
he called Gilgamesh.
Fall back, a stick, and a Power Man.
Okay.
None in hand.
Get those 2 Gilgameshes out of that
But
deck.
I do believe that there are 2 copies of Gilgamesh in the list.
Like take
So
one, like
it's
really,
going to
really
Gilgamesh out of the deck.
And this is why we do best of 3 in the top 8. It seems to be a little on the one-sided for this game, but hopefully Nick has got something.
I think Nick's just holding his breath that David doesn't open with that one of May Parker next time. That makes
Yeah,
it
no
an
kidding.
uphill
That's
battle from the start.
That was an incredible starting.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and ripping out those Gilgamesh with Molder kind of solidifies this, I think, for Spider-Man. I think if Gilgamesh had come down, Photo has a kind of a tough time dealing with a big guy like Gilgamesh.
Spider-Man into Hulk.
But
into Hulk.
Molder comes in and does his investigating and pulls him out. And now I think Spider-Man is pretty much locked in at this point. Another fallback. I think that's the 3rd one we've seen.
And then we're gonna shoot at the Hulk.
All baby Avengers.
Okay.
He's trying to pull every plot twist he's got, trying to keep.
Baby Avengers. Really wants to get that XP at the beginning of his turn. Oh no, he's already leveled up. He just doesn't want to take that 5th wound.
I'm gonna play Power Man. I'll say Sweet Christmas.
It's like,
Power
ooh,
Power Man.
that is a great card. Power Man comes down,
7, 8, 9.
counting up all the powers on characters. See how big we can get him. Looks like
It's like 9 powers.
9 counters, which makes a 14/14 Power Man.
Okay.
Spider-Man's have big range.
David has 2 Sokovia Cord in his deck. He hasn't played any so far, and he's been drawing 3 cards a turn since turn 2 with Tony Stark. So we could see the Sokovia Cords come down and clean those counters up real quick.
Yeah, Dave's got 7 cards in hand.
Yep. So
So
Cersei's
he
going to make the
does
safe
take the
range.
second one.
Power Man into Mr. Molder.
Let's see if it comes down.
That's good.
And
Nope.
Power Man into Molder.
Tony Stark.
That's good.
All right.
And
And
it's
that was
Tony
a
Stark.
pretty big hit by Nick.
2 now. It's like a regular person.
Very good turn for Nick. He really needed that to kind of stay in this game. Big turn for Nick there.
And just like that, Spider-Man's facing off against 2 very, very large screen.
Yeah. 14 on Power Man there. Something like a
Plus
Sokovia.
plus that goose is still sitting there. So that means anytime match could make another.
Yep. As soon as he kills that goose, he could pick that match right back up.
One closer to his stat line.
Match is great for cleaning up boards.
He's 23 right now.
So looks like a laboratory for 3 -1s onto Hulk, making him a 3/3. Looks like Hulk's gonna go to 5 wounds this turn, I think.
A Tony Stark
Ooh.
and a Don.
Buffy comes down. A great card for making use of all those extra locations in the deck.
Paragliding.
Yeah, Tony Stark and a Dawn.
Paraglide. So now Nick has to get through that Dawn before he can start cleaning up the rest of that board. And Buffy has 3 life and can get bigger and bigger the more locations you have. This is a very location heavy deck, as we've seen. You can get a lot of mileage out of that 5-cost Buffy there. Hulk is
And
going to go
Hulk
to
takes
5.
his 5th.
I'll pass turn.
All right.
Gilgamesh would be great here, but they're all ripped out. Does Nick have any other big flyers he could throw out to block?
I'm gonna recruit a gargoyle.
Okay.
At his list?
I'm gonna recruit
Gargoyle might do it.
a
Does he have a
stick
might makes right to
to
pair with it?
there.
And who's that in the back row? Stick to put 2 +1s
Which
on Hulk,
ability lets you do the
making
striking?
him an 8/8.
The red.
The red.
Training drown.
Okay.
No matter how big Hulk is, I think you have to play it safe and move him to the back.
Yeah, he's down to his last.
And I'm going
Hell.
to form up.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Hulk
that's
goes back.
exactly what he's doing.
This, I believe.
Okay.
Pay this green to might makes right. This
Yep,
gargoyle.
he does
Okay.
have might makes right. Looks like he forgot to climb though, which is a bit of a misplay. We'll see if that 1 -1 counter ends up making the difference. I sure hope not. But the might makes right on Gargoyle is a very powerful play. Sometimes that card's really difficult for photo decks to deal with.
How many cards in your hand?
Goose would do it though, obviously. Bifrost would do it, and of course Sokovia Chords.
Well, does Nick have a location to climb?
He just paid a green with the might makes right.
Gotcha. So he had one before.
Yeah, at the beginning of his main phase, he did.
My apologies. Stick in the
I'm guilty of often forgetting to climb. So Stick is going to take out Dawn first. Cersei, I think, is heading for Buffy. Okay, there we go.
Power Man is
Trying to make the safest attacks possible. So Luke Cage, Power Man is going to put the 3rd wound on Spider-Man. He's only got 2 to give.
pass turn.
Cleaning up that board. It looks like he's not concerned with getting that match back. He really doesn't want David drawing any more extra cards off Genius.
Does David have anything that can help him jump over and take that last one?
He needs to take care of Gargoyle first, which is a tough guy to get around with that many counters on him. A big range attack would do it, or if he has a Bifrost would be incredible right now. He's got 2 Bifrost on the list. We haven't seen any come down yet. A Bifrost to clean up that. So we're playing a yellow to draw cards. We're digging a little bit. But no Bifrost this turn then.
9 resources.
He's got 9 resources this time.
8. Is he? Let's see if he's got Captain Marvel in the list. He's not playing 8-drop Captain Marvel.
Yeah, he looks like he's playing Odin.
Yeah, Odin would be great, but Captain Marvel would be spectacular because she can fly over characters with flight. Drawing an extra card with Iron Man and putting some counters out.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Even Spider-Man out
Take
front
2
there.
so far.
Yeah, he still has the 2 wounds left, but things are getting close between these two, and he's got some big competition in front of him.
Fox.
He
Oh,
burned
there's
through
Fox.
2 of his Dana Scullies. I think he was thinking he wasn't going to need him this game, but it's getting
9.
down, taking some wounds now. Another Molder.
Move him up front.
Yep.
Gonna paraglide.
Let's see what he's going to rip.
The what? Sorry.
Paraglider.
Paraglide.
Yeah. Sorry.
And then
For these you just joining us, this is the Versus System 2PCG Quarantine Cup Top 8. We've got Nick running Mantle Hulk and David running the new Spider-Man MC.
Hulk. All right. I have a call and a gargoyle in my hands.
Okay.
Okay, not sure what he called there.
He called Hulk.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah, for the power-up. Okay.
I mean, you know the deck list. You know that there's not any.
Right.
So.
That's not bad, because we know he's got 4 in there for the power-ups for the XP, but we haven't seen any yet.
Yeah, no,
So that's a good guarantee to make sure you get a lot of value out of it. You're going to hit all 4 of those Hulks.
Hey, Robbie. Thanks for joining us in the chat. We've got ourselves a pretty good battle going on. Spider-Man came out early, hitting hard, but Hulk is really trying to make his comeback. He's down to 1 last health, and Spider-Man's got himself 2 last.
Yeah, it was looking real one-sided there for a while, but a couple of really strong turns from Nick got him back in the game, starting with Power Man to load up on counters and become a real big threat, and then the Might Makes Right Gargoyle being a strong flyer that's kind of hard to play around to protect that last wound on Hulk.
I'll power him up Fox as well.
Ooh.
They are
Okay.
exchanging power-ups like crazy.
Yep, double power-ups. That right there could have been where that extra counter for the climb last turn could have been really, really handy.
6 counters.
You cannot afford to lose that gargoyle now.
Okay, so
That was kind of thrilling and throwing those power-ups out there.
Yeah, they were just jumping back and forth,
Yeah.
one up each other.
Oh, that was awesome.
let me go ahead. And Sticks is
He's a 5.
David is really contemplating what he needs to do here.
okay. So you have no cards in hand, right?
No cards.
Okay.
And Mick is out of cards in hand.
So David must have brought out that Iron Man with the Tony Stark then, right? So
Yes, he did.
Yeah, so it has
Yes, he
Swarm.
did.
I'm gonna send Buffy into him. I'm gonna power her up once.
Okay.
Okay.
And then
Power up for Buffy.
On Buffy.
All right.
Makes her a 6/6.
Going
paying
to
her
the
look-
stick.
Become a 7/7, and it's gonna take out Stick.
And then I'll pass turn.
All right.
Yeah, he had to pass turn.
Draw 2.
All right. I think Nick is down
Gonna
to
recruit a Sharon Carter.
very few
Okay.
cards in hand.
Agent.
Yeah.
Can't tell what that is. There's a bit of a glare.
Draw.
Looks
That was
like
a Sharon Carter.
Play
Get him a card deeper.
So
Okay.
she agents into
I
that.
think.
Assume that counter is going to go on
Fine.
either Hulk to stay alive or Gargoyle.
I'm gonna put the counter on Gargoyle.
Okay.
Yep, he's putting the counter on Gargoyle, and David's got himself 5 cards.
And that dinosaur, she may be small, but she is a flyer, which is something that Nick really wants to see. Want to load up those flyers in the front row.
I believe that's the first Iron Man we've seen out of David.
Spider-Man is an 8/8 currently, correct?
Yes.
Yes, I believe so. Every turn that passes though, we've seen one Goose and we've seen 0 Bifrost and 0 Sokovia Chords so far from David, and any one of those could swing this right back to in his favor.
You're showing
Yeah.
right now.
Spider-Man takes his 4th
Yes.
wound.
Yeah, so both of these guys are at 1 wound to give.
Let's smack Buffy with Power Man.
That's gonna be a second wound.
Let's
Buffy takes her
kill
second.
Stark outright.
Okay.
Gargoyle has to deal with that Iron Man because he's got
And
flight.
pass the turn.
And he
And
did.
then who do you
Okay.
take out? Do you take out?
Tony's a 3/1, a 1/3.
Oh, he doesn't have anything left to. Yeah, he already spent his Cersei, so he can't do much. Oh,
My bad.
Dinah's gonna go for
Dinosaur.
some.
As well.
All right.
Yeah, I think
Sorry about that.
No
it's a
problem.
tough trade because yeah, I think you want to have that dinosaur with flight in front, but you don't want him drawing any extra cards with Tony Stark. That's for sure. So he decides to make the trade with Tony. See if it pays off. Kind of risky.
Yeah, John and Chat. These decks are running incredible. It just seems so one-sided early on, and now we've really got ourselves a good game going on. And this is just the first game.
I'm gonna strike.
Yeah, it's been an exciting
Cersei's.
game for sure. So the red comes down. Red will
She goes first.
let Spider-Man strike. He doesn't have enough to hit Hulk, so that's good. Took out
I'm gonna
Cersei though, I
Goose
believe,
Gargoyle.
which will return to the hand.
Yes, Cersei popped back,
Oh, you're gonna Goose Gargoyle.
and he's Goose and Gargoyle.
Yeah, okay. That
Gonna
might
Iron
do it.
Man.
Yeah.
And then I'm
Ooh.
gonna use the yellow.
And we've got an Iron Man.
5 right here. So
Yes.
choose
So
21
Iron Man has
fifth.
flight. Paragliding will grant your
The
Spider-Man
Black
flight.
Card.
Good.
Plus
I
one
could
on
see
him.
a flight team attack
Plus
happening
one on him.
on Hulk. I don't know that Nick has any cards in his hand, let alone any plot twists. He's burned a lot of his defensive twists. It looks like he said 2 cards in hand. Yep, 2 cards in hand. You cannot use fallback on a back row character, so it would have to be Baby Avengers.
And then I want to recruit a
And
Donna.
even Baby Avengers, I don't know is enough.
Oh, and he's recruiting the Don. He's really playing defensive,
This
just in case.
my hand.
Yes.
Picking up that match from the Goose before. So
Yeah, I
3
was
cards.
curious. I hadn't seen that. I wasn't sure if that was if they had missed that.
Team attack on Hulk.
Yeah, it looks like he just remembered to pick it up.
You got me. I
And
almost
there's the
came
flight team attack, and
There's
that's
team
gonna
attack, and
do
that
it.
should be it.
back. I almost came back.
You did.
So that is
Wow.
game 1 to David's Spider-Man deck. This is best of 3. Spider-Man came out really heavy in the beginning, getting some incredible pulls, including a one-of-a-kind May Parker that boosted him up pretty heavily. But Hulk put up a pretty good fight there. So we'll let them reset and get on to game number 2.
Super exciting game 1. If you'd asked me around turn 4 or 5, I would have thought it was a foregone conclusion that Spider-Man was going to take it. He started off so strong in those early turns. But then Nick with the comeback with the Luke Cage followed by the Gargoyle might makes right to clean up the board and swing advantage back in his favor was incredible. But Spider-Man pulling it out anyway. Great game 1.
For those of you just joining us in chat, this is the Versus System 2PCG Quarantine Cup Top 8. We've got ourselves Nick running Mantle Hulk versus David running the MCU Spider-Man. Thank you very much for joining us across all the different platforms. As far as what we've got going on, we've been doing our card previews for the Fantastic Battles that have been happening on UpperDeckBlog.com. On Wednesday, we'll have our 5th and final preview for that. But we've got the Fantastic Battles are releasing next week, and we're going to try something new next week. So we'll have a little more information on that in a little bit and a little later. But we've got a lot of fun stuff planned. So thanks for joining us.
An exciting time for Versus for sure.
Yeah, it's incredible that what we've been able to do, or what the community has been able to do with all of us kind of staying at home.
You get all that action.
went both ways for me. So
Yes, so Nick will have the initiative here. Having lost game one, Nick will be able to choose to go first. I think you choose to go first. It's a little different. It's a little tough with something like Hulk, who gains XP when you draw, and you don't draw on the first turn. So it's possible we could see him choose to go second here, but I don't think so. I think Nick. Well, I think we'll see Nick go first.
I also missed the climb trigger, although it didn't end up mattering. But as soon as I did it, like, dang it, missed my climb trigger.
Was that trigger? Or the climb? Okay, yeah, I can't. Yeah, I like. He did miss that climb, but I can't see his location, so I'm assuming.
Yeah.
So I think the big thing is Nick really doesn't want to see that May Parker again on turn one.
Yeah, the odds of that happening in the second game, that would be incredible.
That would be really tough and really incredible for David here. I love the Spider-Man main character on the Spider-Man map.
Yeah, it's a nice, fun build on that climb keyword that we introduced on the Spider.
Well, and flight, just because no one else in FOTE has flight, basically.
Right. No, yeah, flight. That's why I want to see you. That's the only thing I had going ooh, you only got 3 flyers.
Yeah.
With this being the top 8, both players have seen the deck list for each other, so they kind of knew what they were kind of to expect coming in. But it seemed that first game was a lot of fun. So let's see what they've got coming up on game 2.
Good luck to you as well.
Yeah, that knowledge going into top 8 makes Fox Mulder on 7 even stronger.
I'm gonna keep this.
Kind of have more information to go on what to pick. You're not less of a shot in the dark. So that card goes from great to super great.
So they both decided not to mulligan. So, and Nick has decided to go.
So there's a pretty good chance we're gonna see May Parker come down.
I hope so. Either that or he's got himself a Bifrost.
Yeah. He didn't take his mulligan, so man, that would be incredible 2 games in a row.
You're 3-3.
Yes.
Yeah. So Nick sees what he wants to see on turn 1. He's got that dinosaur. Going for the trade with dinosaur.
That's good.
Which is a safer attack than the Hulk. So we're going to trade with the dinosaur.
Going 2.
And wound number 1 on Spider-Man there. All right, so David kept this hand. So we're going to see
Laboratory.
if he's got that one-of-a-kind May Parker. Which is going to make Nick have to work way harder than he wants to this early on. Nope,
No
just
recruit.
the clock.
And I'll pass turn.
I'm sure Nick just let out a sigh of relief.
Wow, yeah. Because this could easily set back Spider-Man 2 wounds.
It makes you wonder how good that hand is then. Aside from not having May Parker, it's
Sharon Carter.
I assume he's got some outs to some dangerous stuff he might see later on. Sokovia, Chords, Bifrost, Goose, something like that. If it's good enough to keep without seeing something like May Parker.
Yeah, I think 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
But drawing the extra card off of Sharon Carter for the XP. And swinging in with a call for the power up. Making Hulk a 6/5 currently.
That makes him a 6/5.
With 3 XP out of the 8 that.
That's good.
All right.
And Dave is just going to take it. No friend from work or Sokovia Chords.
What was in that hand that he decided not to mulligan?
Ready?
I wonder. Maybe it's just too many locations to give up. But I mean, any hand is probably going to have the locations you need with 26 in the deck.
Gonna play a Fortress.
Yep. And a Fortress.
Gonna play a Maria Hill.
Yeah, she's a big one.
Maria Hill gives her stealth on her first turn.
Flying for my second location. I forgot that's my second.
Yeah, 6/6 stealth. Very strong aggressive character.
Maria Hill at Hulk.
Yeah, Build Phase in the chat is saying that David probably had all the 4 locations that he needed.
Spider-Man into
in order to make sure that he could level up, because it's going to take him 4 turns to do that.
Very rude.
So that's a possibility. But
Yeah.
if he winds up taking 4 hits right in a row, that could put him way too far behind with only a 5.
Now, he's only playing 2 Goose in his list. I wonder if he saw Goose in there and is going to hold on to that for a really opportune Gargoyle or match play. And he knew he really needed to have an out to those cards. So maybe there's 1 or 2 Goose in there that he knows he's going to need.
You didn't stun me going into turn 2, correct?
No, that's the first stun I got right there.
Okay, I believe I should have 4 XP because I got +1 counter, draw.
Making sure we're honest on XP, I think.
Yeah, they wanted to make sure they were honest on XP and make sure that they were good on the whether or not they were stunned. So he's up to 4 halfway there.
Right, yeah, no, that's right. It's my little window is blocking your experience, so.
And a second dinosaur. We'll put a counter on Hulk. Hulk lost his counters with the trade with Maria Hill there. He's back to being a 5/4 with that counter. 4 XP. Oh, 5
now
XP.
To 5.
I'm gonna team attack Spider-Man.
And going for a team attack to try and give Spider-Man, and they exchange. So Spider-Man will take that wound, and Hulk will take 1 back.
Fair trade. You're still ahead 1 wound, and you have 6 printed life as opposed to your opponent's 5 printed life. So that's a decent trade. I think you just want to keep the pressure on. But taking that wound again, Spider-Man, what must his hand be? We haven't seen Friend from Work yet.
Want to play a Fortress?
Yep.
So he's got his 3rd location type down, which, yeah, he probably had 4 location types in there, but what did he have? Just high cost characters?
Want to play Dana Scully?
So we see Dana Scully. She can't trigger her Appears heal, but
to the back.
I think there's a good chance we see him pitch the X-Files from hand for the heal. I think he's starting to sweat a little bit by the time you get to 3 wounds.
Unique location.
I'm going to see the Climb for the 3rd experience.
It's just a different location.
He's 1 turn off.
A location
I think you could relax a little bit once you flip. But I think you want the heal right now with Scully. Will make you feel a lot less nervous.
And then Scully to Dinosaur.
Yeah, and he sends Scully towards Dinosaur.
No heal, I guess. Otherwise, it's risky to swing in.
No, he doesn't have what he needs for that.
Yep, no X-Files.
Yeah, but he's got 8 cards in hand. He still doesn't seem to. He has what he needs, at least, to try and get some things out on the.
That makes me make choices. I think I do this.
So Nick needs 3 XP here to level. I think you really want to flip this turn before Spider-Man has a chance to flip and start striking on you and stuff like that.
Yep. So
Spider-Man
he's got a 6 out of 8.
Yeah. Spider-Man won't level until the start of his main phase at least, though. So he's got 2 turns technically before he really has to worry about it. Yep, and he
there
will.
We go.
Yeah,
Hulk's
pay
jumped
the,
up to level 2.
Green yellow to jump to level 2.
And let me draw this card.
Still showing a green yellow too, locked and loaded, so that's great.
For these of you who just joined us, this is the Versus System 2PCG Quarantine Cup Top 8. We've got Nick running Mantle Hulk versus David running the MCU Spider-Man. This is best of 3, and David is up 1-0.
Okay.
So it looks like Nick wants to draw a fistful of cards here. He pitched the Call Power Up, put the 4th counter on Hulk there, and then green, yellow to draw cards equal to the number of +1 counters on Hulk. So he's going to draw 4 cards there.
Okay.
Stick into Scully.
That's good.
Stick takes out Scully.
Hulk
And then, do we finally see the Sokovia here? He's picking up his hand there. I think we're going to see a Sokovia. No, friend from work.
Friend from work. Because they're both running good side. He's got himself 4 more cancel condiments.
Save that wound there. Staying at 3 wounds, 2 to give. Think we will see a level here. Don't think there's any chance he doesn't have the 4th location.
Gonna play the X-Files.
Yep.
Oh,
X-Files.
he may have just drawn that X-Files, but then lost it.
X-Files turn late. So we could see a 4-drop here, or he could underdrop the Dana Scully for the heal.
Maria Hill.
Yep.
2-drop Maria Hill.
Okay.
And 2-drop Tony Stark. And we will see a level 2 Spider-Man.
I'm then going to climb for my
Climbing the X-Files. So I believe that is an 8/8 Spider-Man. I think he got a second +1 counter because he didn't. He managed to dodge that wound last turn.
Into stick.
He sends Maria Hill into stick.
I'm sorry, I got a second counter for climbing. I'm sorry. I did.
There's that second counter for his climb.
You're all
Yep.
good, man. You're all good. You have first effects.
Pass.
I'm gonna power up stick.
And a power up on stick to become a 6/7. 1 away from Maria Hill. And no power up. Just going to take it.
And I'll pass turn.
Not risking swinging in with Spider-Man.
We got Hulk with 2 wounds, Spider-Man with 3, but Spider-Man does have that wound disadvantage of only having 5.
Right, yep. Scully and the X-Files location just couldn't get there at the same time.
Okay.
So there's a 4-cost Christie, 6 attack range, a dinosaur to put him +1 on
I'm not sure what to put this counter.
Christie to be a 7 range attacker.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna.
Oh no, looks like
he's adding it to Hulk.
Doing Hulk. Okay.
How many locations you have?
Makes
still
Hulk
in Infinity?
an 11/11.
None up, 5 face down.
Okay, that's all. Yeah, okay.
Sorry.
No problem.
I'll try to get those in there a little bit better. Well, Hulk into Spider-Man.
I think you
So
have to make that
Hulk's-
Hulk attack. It's
Hulk's
really
jumping into Spider-Man. He's got to get a little more offensive on that, try and draw out all those plot twists.
we see that the first Sokovia chord come down. Very rough for Nick. He goes down to a 6/6. Unless he's got some power-ups or something, he's gonna take a wound here without even hitting Spider-Man.
Okay.
So that's rough. That's one of 2 Sokovia chords that are in David's deck. I wonder if that was in his hand from the beginning and he was just trying to get the most value out of it he could. Save it.
That's
for
a
the
possibility. I'd be very curious to hear what exactly he had, what he saw that he felt not to mulligan.
Mm-hmm.
Pass turn.
Join 2.
He does manage to KO Tony Stark there, which I think is big. You don't want a situation like last game where he just keeps loading up his hand every turn with the Genius trigger.
That last game, David had a fistful of cards, and at one point Nick had nothing.
He is a 6/7.
Yeah, you can't discount that 1 extra card a turn over several turns. It's a huge swing and advantage towards David if he gets to keep Iron Man or Tony Stark for 2 or more turns. It just gets out of hand.
I'm gonna strike 6.
A red will strike a character, taking out stick.
Play a Buffy.
Okay.
And a Buffy.
Paraglide.
Yep.
Spider-Man paraglides. He's getting big. He's a 9/9 now.
9/9 with flight.
And Sending him into Christie.
You got it.
And takes
Pass
care of
turn.
Christie.
Yeah, it's incredible. Between the two different games, we've seen where Spider-Man gets really big, really fast early, and Hulk has to work his way back, and it got close. And now Hulk kind of had the board, and Spider-Man's staying in there.
Rowing a resource. I was just thinking that
Mhm.
a green and a yellow could turn this around for Nick, but looks like no such
Okay.
luck. Match comes down. Great card. Ugh. That could really help him clean up those counters on Spider-Man. Match could.
Let's attempt to shoot Spider-Man.
Yep. So match swinging
Yeah,
in.
send him into Spider-Man.
He's a friend from work.
Ooh,
Friend
with the
from work.
cancel.
Another cancel.
Yep.
And Nick mentions how he's not a big fan of that card.
Yeah, if he hadn't had that match, would have cleaned up those counters very nicely. But yep, in this matchup, it's a clean cancel.
Okay. 4 wounds.
And they're
Yep. So he makes
exchanging wounds. They're both at 4, which leaves Spider-Man at one left and Hulk at 2.
Yep, much less
Getting down to the wire very quickly.
Yeah, it's much less desirable than having match clean up the counters, but you got to do what you got to do, and you do have the wound advantage. I think you have to press that, and just hope that next turn you can get there for the final wound, and he doesn't have a heal or something. But it is a nerve-wracking situation to be in for Nick for sure. But you got to press the wound advantage when you have it.
Yeah, the Logan in chat, he definitely needs that Scully to pop.
All right.
Yeah, he's showing the locations for it, but does he have the Scully? We've seen him. He's played 1. He's got 3 left in his deck. Great card, especially for
Put him over here.
main characters with 5 or less wounds who need that extra push to get to the late game. But looks like he doesn't have it.
He's bringing out Goose to get rid of, or at least to push Match into the pocket, and then Don to help get.
You have first Vex.
No.
All right, you got it.
And I'll pass turn.
All right.
And it's tough. I don't know that Nick can get there on this next turn. Yeah, he's got to push through that front row.
Play that.
See a fortress. I think he's on.
Yeah,
7.
if he's able to get that that academy.
Okay.
Okay, Gargoyle.
We'll
Do you have the Might Makes Right for it? Ooh,
Okay.
this could be it.
And then I'm gonna Might Makes Right him.
With
Yeah,
decline,
there it is.
and Might Makes Right. The big question, does
That's good.
David
Hulk
have
takes
cancel?
Don.
And we'll send it to Spider-Man.
Flying over into Spider-Man?
This could be it.
Yeah, but I have no answers.
And he's got no
Ooh,
answers.
no
so
cancel.
that'll be
Okay,
game
so
2.
I need another location.
Wow. These are some close games. Amazing. A cancel there or a Sokovia chords there.
Yeah, he must have had 3 locations in his opening hand, and that Sokovia just in case, and he felt that he could hopefully mill into something where he could get himself set up on for David there. So that is the second game. We're tied up at 1 each. This is a best of 3 for the top 8. So these guys are going to set up again, and this will be for all of it.
Man, what a series of games here! Wow. I wonder what Nick's hand was like going into that last turn. I wonder if he top deck Gargoyle Might Makes Right, Might Makes Right green. Did he? It's. I wonder. It worked out.
Yeah, because he didn't. The turn before he milled a resource, which means he couldn't have gotten a location. So unless he had the Gargoyle that turn and then got the location.
Yeah. Oh man, what a great game. If that Scully and that X-Files had lined up a little better, it could have gone a completely different way.
Yeah, it's impressive to see these two decks. Neither one seemed to be able to be counted out right away. Either one could come back and at least fight.
Yeah, absolutely.
So this is the top 8. We've got Mantle Hulk and we've got MCU Spider-Man. Can you share with us what the other main characters are being?
Yeah, so the top 8, super diverse top 8. I know a lot of us were expecting to see stuff like Outrider, Sinister Six, Rogue, the quote unquote better main characters, but we got a really cool spread here. So we have Spider Woman deck in here with a lot of the new Spider Friends support cards, which is really cool to see. That team got huge boost from that web headset. So I think she is a force to be reckoned with. We got Spider Woman up in here. We got 2 Dark Phoenix lists, 2 very different Dark Phoenix lists. One that's more of a standard Dark Phoenix ramp, play big guys fast list, and one that I think is more of an interesting kind of combo list that we'll have to see how that goes. So a couple Dark Phoenix lists in there. Obviously MCU Spider-Man, which is cool to see. We got Mantle Hulk that we've seen here. Another MCU deck, we have MCU Captain Marvel from Robbie Stewart. He's a big fan of the Photographic Universe cards, so really cool to see that in there. MCU Captain Marvel. We have Black Cat of all things, a really cool discard control type strategy. It's a favorite of Burt Richardson, who's playing that. So we got Black Cat.
Yeah, I do remember him being a big fan of Black Cat early on.
It's one of his favorites, and it's always really cool to see him do that and see what he brings to it. And then we have Adam Warlock from the Guardians team, which is a really strong main character. And yeah, so a really cool spread. 7 main characters out of 8 slots. Really cool to see. Big diverse field and some really cool characters.
Yeah, it's always good to see the diversity when it comes to the top cut.
Yeah, absolutely.
So looks like David is going to go first in Game 3, top 8, Quarantine Cup. This is going to be for everything. They're tied up 1-1.
He does not hit May Parker, though. And yeah, it's looking a lot like the last game.
And we're going to go ahead and
going in for a team attack with Hulk and Dinosaur. Do we see a friend from work here? I think it's a good chance we do. Yep.
Yes, we do.
Okay.
Try to dodge that wound and keep that counter.
Academy. Playing Maria Hill.
Yeah, this is playing out just like the last game. Another Maria Hill.
Maria Hill into Hulk.
I'm going to go ahead and
She's probably taking aim at Hulk. Yep, which will trigger the fall back from Nick to cancel the combat and move back. So he's safe this turn.
That's a terrible mistake. I got hit on myself in attacking dinosaurs.
all right. You got her.
Spider-Man does take out Dinosaur.
Looks like David forgot to climb.
Yes, he did.
That is huge and potentially hugely detrimental to Spider-Man. He has to take a whole extra turn now to get to level 2.
Okay.
Very rough.
Yeah, Spider-Man does need to climb 4 times, and he can only do it once per turn, so that's going to delay his leveling up.
Yeah, that's rough. I'm sure David could just kick himself right now. Let's see if we can see Match finally stick some counters on.
That will be good.
He's come down 3 times. And he's yet to stick. There he goes.
Yeah, he was able to do it that one time.
Oh, man. Missing the climb. Oof. That's got to hurt.
Pass the turn.
Drawing 2.
Tough. Sometimes you get excited, you slam down your cards, you start doing your thing, and then you realize you missed something crucial. We've all done it. Feels real bad.
Yeah, some of those either keywords or even superpowers, you forget about them. You're focused on.
Yep, absolutely. So 3 resources here. He's showing an X-Files and 1 wound on Spider-Man, which means that Dana Scully would be perfect here. Yep, beautiful.
There she is.
Very rude of you.
Takes that 1 wound off Spider-Man.
And Nick finds it very rude that she's made it. Yeah, David is still disappointed in himself for missing.
It's tough though. You got to recover and you gotta keep moving. It's tough when you make a mistake and it gets sticks in your head and it stays with you for the whole game. So I think he's got to try to find his footing again.
I have 3 XP.
Okay, 3 XP.
So Hulk's got 3 XP out of the 8 that he needs, and Spider-Man's got 2 of the 4.
Looks like.
I'm gonna power up.
Yep, going in.
And there's that 4th XP for the power.
Potential trade, but the power up is gonna save Hulk.
That's gonna be good.
So Spider-Man is going to go back to 1 wound because he healed the one with Dana Scully. And going to pass the turn.
Draw 2, get an XP, plus me up to 5.
Which is another XP for Hulk because he was face up at the start of the turn. So he's going to get that for the start of turn draw phase. Rowing a card, so not showing a yellow, but there's a gargoyle. Could see a Might Makes Right. Might save the Might Makes Right for maybe a more crucial moment. We'll have to see.
It seems like Nick's playing a little more defensive with his Hulk, moving him into the back.
Yeah, and I think you can afford to do that when you have the early Might Makes Right gargoyle. And David is already a little bit on the back foot, especially missing that XP. So I think it's smart to move Hulk to the back row there, especially with a big flyer up front. Try to lock in that level up so that Hulk can do what he needs to do in the late game. On turn 4 here.
Yeah, I believe that gargoyle is an 8/8.
Yeah, the 8/8, and if you try to come at him in a melee combat, he's going to drop you down 5. 1 for each. -1/-1 for each +1 counter on him. So we could see a Goose, we could see a Bifrost, or we could see some kind of creative range attack, although I don't think that's going to happen in this list. But a Goose to eat the gargoyle would be great.
Did you say that David was running 2 or 4 Bifrost in his deck?
I believe it's only 2 Bifrost. Let me check the list here. I think it's 2 Bifrost, 2 Goose for his kind of removal suite.
Yeah, we haven't seen a Bifrost yet in the first 2.
Yeah, just 2 copies of Bifrost and 2 copies of Goose. The Bifrost, I think, would be maybe a little better at this point because Goose does eat up your recruit points. And even if you... There's the Bifrost.
There's the Bifrost.
Yeah. I'm not sure the wording on Bifrost, but does it remove the counters as well?
Let's see. Choose a supporting character and remove it from the game with its counters. At the start of the owner's next turn, it appears on their side.
So it's just a very temporary solution then, because even when the gargoyle comes back, he will still be just as big of a threat. But it will give you a chance to take a crack at Hulk. Looks like he's going to probably save it until he has something that can capitalize on it. Yeah, Logan points out without any big range attacks, it's going to be really tough for David to break up Nick's board here with the gargoyle there. Ooh, okay. Iron Man comes out. Tony Stark pays the yellow to deploy an empty Iron Man suit.
I'm going to pay Avengers Tower from hand for Genius Playboy.
Paying an Avengers Tower from his hand to draw a card, gain a recruit point, and put out 2 -1 counter, or 2 +1 counters rather.
+1 on somebody else.
I'm shocked.
I'm gonna play training
something like a range attack from Iron Man combined with a... Oh, so he's just going to go with the Bifrost.
Yep. Nick expected that to be happening this turn.
And playing a May Parker.
So...
Oh, and May Parker.
May Parker comes down. Yep, so...
Yep.
Unless we see something like a Baby Avengers or something, Hulk could be taking a wound here. It'll be Hulk's first wound, though. He will lose those +1 counters, and he'll lose his chance of gaining XP at the top of the turn.
Yeah.
Sending Iron Man into match.
How big is Spider-Man?
I think you have to. I think he has to take that. Match only has 1 defense. Very good aggressive card.
Well, you got Match.
Only 1 defense. Even a baby Avengers is not really going to save him. So Match takes the knee there.
Okay. Spider-Man gonna go after Hulk.
You have first effects.
I'm not playing nothing.
I'm gonna power up.
And a power up for an XP and to try to save him from that Spider-Man attack.
Okay.
He moves up to 6 XP for Hulk.
Nothing.
Okay, so I'm still swinging at 8.
Oh yeah, you have May Parker. I'm dumb. Big old dumb.
And doesn't have another pump to get him there.
No,
so-
he didn't realize he forgot about May Parker, so he
Yeah.
pumped it. It gave him the experience, but he wound up losing the counter.
Now we
Yeah, yikes. Just threw that call away. He gets the XP. Could have timed that a little better, yeah. So we saw a missed climb from David and kind of a wasted power up there from Nick, so oh, he's got the Jersey City.
this Sharon Carter.
So if he wants it, he's got a guaranteed level this turn.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna
Agent
leave it
for
on top.
1 with
Okay.
he's gonna go ahead and draw that card.
Is there a reason he wouldn't want to level this?
Not that I can see, no. I think you got to clean up that board a little bit. You're in a decent enough position if you can clean up David's board this turn.
And you know that Spider-Man is going to level next turn.
Yes. A turn late.
Yeah,
you can
that's
capitalize on that.
still rough. Yeah.
Does May boost all heroes?
Try to take advantage of that
Just Spider-Man.
Okay.
early play mistake and clean this board up. Go ahead and level, and we'll see what happens.
Let's climb.
Okay.
Make sure you get that climb.
Yeah, he's getting that
Here.
climb in.
I think I have
Gargoyle's a
to
9/9. Okay, so
And he's going after May Parker.
No, it's Iron Man.
Yeah, Iron Man's got flight there. He did not see Iron Man's flight.
First.
Oh, you're correct. You're correct.
saying okay.
That is a problem.
I mean, an illegal attack, so we're gonna take that back.
Then I'm gonna pay.
Let's see.
the
Okay,
yellow
so
brain
he's going
Okay.
to trigger his brains and brawn
Okay.
and level up.
to draw a card, put a counter on, and flip to level 2 as a 7/7. Think
Cards in your hand.
2.
we'll see maybe Hulk into Iron Man, and then if that sticks, a Gargoyle into May Parker.
Well, David only has 2 cards in hand, but he still has quite a few plot twists that can cancel his combat.
Yes.
All right,
Yeah, so you run the risk of one of those 2 cards being picking
Yeah,
him up.
Hulk's
Is it
going into
front-
Iron Man. David's a little slow to pick up his hand, but he does
Right.
have the front.
Does have it. Oof. Can't quite
Spider-Man is
get to
a
May Parker
idiot.
this turn.
Yes.
Could be just what David needs.
How many wounds does Spider-Man?
So let's see. Does
One.
he press Spider-Man, or does he try to clean up the board and take out Iron Man? It's a very tough
He
call.
he was asking questions about Spider-Man. But no,
He
he's
gonna die on this one.
he is going to take out.
Think that's the right call. It's a tough call to have to
Drawing
make.
3.
You want to keep the pressure on the main character, but you don't want to dig yourself in a hole by being in a disadvantageous board state. I think you have to take out Iron Man there. Now, David only had 1 card in his hand. He drew 3 with the Genius trigger, but does he have a location?
We want to play Academy.
He does.
Yep.
So we'll see the level here. Iron Man will, or Spider-Man rather, will be
And then I'm gonna goose your.
a very big web head. Oh,
Oh, and he goosed.
oh
He
man,
goosed Gargoyle.
You sure you want to use
Goose.
Sharon Carter?
Hold on, let me see the-
very.
And
very
Nick is trying to get David to move that Sharon Carter.
Okay, start of my main. Climb my ledge. choose weak location level. So I go on the third.
And it's tough. All right, so Spider-Man flips. He's very big. Goose eating the gargoyle is
And then we'll go on
very,
the
very,
Hulk.
very big.
For $1 billion.
Yeah, 9 plus 3, 12.
He's a plus 12, plus 12. Or 12, 12 rather.
2 wounds.
But Hulk does take the wounds, so he's got.
I believe Spider-Man's just at 1.
Yeah, Spider-Man is at 1.
Man.
But with the health disadvantage, they're about even.
Yep. But losing that gargoyle hurts. Put a lot of resources into that. And
And that's your only face
5 now.
Correct.
Ooh, is that another gargoyle? Does he have the might mix right?
Gargoyle.
Yeah,
Ooh.
Another gargoyle, yeah.
Climb.
He's showing a
Yeah.
location. We're gonna get the climb.
We're gonna go speak.
A
with
might
Miss
mix.
May
Ooh,
Parker.
okay, no might mix right.
Yeah, she did.
Looks like we're just trying to clean up that back row. Yep, May Parker brings Spider-Man down to size. He's still a 9/9 though.
Yes.
Can we get Hulk there? Can we get him big enough?
I'm gonna pay
Left
this
Hulk up front,
wild
so I assume he's hoping
and this yellow to put
something here. Paying a yellow.
4 counters.
Okay.
Yeah, he's adding 4 counters to.
4 counters. We'll make Hulk 10 to Spider-Man's 9. David is showing 2 cards in hand, I believe.
Spider-Man for 10.
Bit of a risky attack. Could be a Sokovia Accords.
good.
With only 2 cards in
That's the
hand,
second
he's going
one.
to take it.
It was just enough that he needed.
Drawing 3.
It's a pretty good turn for Nick, although David still gets to keep his Iron Man, his Tony Stark rather, which will draw him an extra card. And Spider-Man might get to trigger one of his powers. An Academy would be great to draw cards. A red would take out Gargoyle without having to attack him. A blue would bring Hulk down to size.
For those of you who are just joining us, this is the Versus System 2PCG Quarantine Cup top 8. We've got Nick running Mantle Hulk versus David's Spider-Man from MCU. This is best of 3, and they're tied at 1-1 each. Both these decks have been running really well and really close.
Gargoyle.
Yep, so we see the training ground to strike Gargoyle. Take him out right away without having to get in there and fight him, which is great against Gargoyle. Paying a blue, and I think we're seeing another Iron Man suit.
Laboratory, yeah, from hand in order to get that Iron Man out.
I'm then going to pay yellow. Draw a card.
And paying the yellow to draw a card, gain a recruit point, and put out 2 +1 counters.
And then I have 1, 2,
Yeah,
3,
that Tony
4,
Stark
5,
Iron
6,
Man
7.
team there, that engine of
Iron.
Tony Stark drawing you cards and then deploying the Iron Mans is proven to be really strong.
Especially because those Iron Mans get swarmed, so you can just keep bringing them out.
Yeah, absolutely.
And then we're going to team attack on Hulk.
You have first fix.
It's like we're going in for a team attack on Hulk
I'm gonna fall
Yep.
back.
and
And
a
he
fall
will fall back.
to cancel.
Pass time.
All right. Draw 2.
Gives him a chance to fight back.
Play.
I believe
I'm gonna recruit Cersei.
Spider-Man is
Okay.
either
Here
9/9
comes
or 10/10. I'm not sure if he remembered to paraglide. Cersei, though,
I'm gonna pay this wild and this green
Okay.
to draw 4 cards.
I think he did paraglide because he's got to one of his locations turned south.
We're gonna attempt to shoot Spider-Man.
drew some cards there with Hulk
Going to be good for my third wound.
and swinging
Spider-Man
in
does take that third.
range attack,
Iron Man
cleaning up those counters. Very good.
and pass.
Drawing 3.
Still has to leave Tony Stark there though for the genius trigger. Every turn that Iron Man stays face up, Tony Stark rather, is a big chance for David to make a comeback. Those extra cards.
Yeah, David's gone from 2 cards in hand like 2 turns ago to up to 6.
We're gonna put 3 -1 -1 on Hulk.
It's rude.
And 3 -1/-1s on Hulk with Spider-Man's.
That's pretty good. Bring him down to a 7/7. And then with Paraglide, he could tie him at 7/7. Make a trade if he wants, but he's at a big wound disadvantage.
Gonna play Fox.
Yep.
Molder,
Fox
though.
and Mulder.
That's a safe range attack. He's also showing an X-Files. Could tear out. Gilgamesh would be a good call. Power Man would be a good call. We've already seen 2 fallbacks, I think. I don't think he'll call fallback.
Moving Tony Stark up front.
Interesting.
And he hasn't paraglided yet.
I'm gonna Paraglide.
Does he forget?
Oh,
No.
there you
Okay,
go.
There we go.
Is he looking for a team attack?
Interesting.
For the truth is out there for Gilgamesh.
Gilgamesh. All right.
Any team
And he's
attack.
playing The Truth is Out there for Gilgamesh.
A might makes right.
Calling Gilgamesh. Okay.
A stick and a grain in hand.
None in hand, but there is a Power Man in hand. Oh man, that Power Man is gonna be so strong.
On the very bottom.
Yeah, he's got a Power Man. He's got a Might Makes Right. He's got the Baby Avengers. He's got a
Might
couple
Makes Right
cards
green.
Yeah, and green for the Might Makes Right.
And randomly one was on the very top.
Not a bad hand. We could even see Christie be relevant potentially if he brings out multiple Iron Man.
That's true. Christie does hit all cards with the same name if he's able to strike.
I thought would be relevant in this matchup, meant as Outrider tech, could actually end up being relevant. Losing those Gilgamesh again, though. I think we'll see that. Power Man next turn, though.
All right, you good?
Yeah.
Quick shout out to everybody in chat. Thank you very much for joining us. Hope you're having as much fun as we have watching these two decks battle each other really well over these.
Yeah, this has been a really, really exciting match. Lots of back and forth. Lots of swings and momentum where you're not sure who's at the advantage.
And you're currently 7/7?
Yes.
So we're seeing Spider-Man attack.
I will pass.
Not sure who he's heading into.
Yeah, Spider-Man's at a 7/7. So Hulk will take his second wound, third wound.
Yep, trading.
Oh, trading.
Interesting.
All right, I'll get you down.
Really wants to take out Cersei, who's just going to go back to the hand anyway. The Molder into Hulk would have been a much safer attack.
Yeah, that is kind of an interesting trade out there. You're taking the wound, which leaves you 1, and then you spend a guy to bounce somebody.
Yep. Interesting call there. Taking your Spider-Man to 4 wounds intentionally. Only 3 cards in hand. Kind of need a Dana Scully or something to bail you out.
Yes, yes.
And Nick's asking about how many powers out there, so he's probably looking at bringing power.
Yep. Although that could have been a move against Power Man last turn to try to bring your board down a little bit to make Power Man a little bit weaker.
Yeah, the Logian mentioned that in chat as well, just trying to get the number of powers off the board, knowing full well that Power Man was going to make an appearance.
Yeah, so Power Man comes out as a measly 9/9. Still not bad.
Measly.
Yeah. It's not bad, all things considered. All that effort to bring him down to still being a 9/9 is significant. He's still a force to be reckoned with.
And now his gargoyle pops back out.
Yep, and we already saw he's got a green and a Might Makes Right, and he just picked that gargoyle back up. So unless we see a Scully here, I think Nick will be able to push his way through next turn regardless. Knock on wood. Could see an Odin here, potentially.
Yeah, strike Hulk.
A red will strike a character.
Yep.
All right, puts me forward.
So Hulk will go to 4. Still 2 wounds to give though.
Yeah,
While
still 2
Spider-Man-
wounds to 1.
And then play Odin.
Yep, you have.
That's the first time we've seen Odin.
Yep, there's Odin. So no Groot. Groot would have been good too. Logan points out.
Yeah.
I don't know that there's Groots on this list. There's no Groot in
Power Man.
David's list,
We're gonna fall back.
but he's gonna bring out
Okay.
Odin.
You can't play that. You don't have no
You're
champion.
correct. You are correct. You are correct.
Oh, taking that back.
Yeah,
Yeah, no
Nick
champions.
tried to play it, but he does not have a champions.
All right, you got him.
And pass time.
Now, Sweet Christmas will trigger on the recover as well.
Sweet Christmas. How many powers? How many counters do I get?
3.
And 8/8 Power Man, still pretty big.
He
Looking
does have
down.
an 11/11 Odin sitting there.
Now, Odin does not have flight. I don't think. No
He
flight.
does not have flight. He's got 3 health, no flight. But
So here
Hulk
could,
drops to a 1/1 base.
Yep. So Hulk stuck at 1/1. Could see a Might Makes Right Gargoyle here for the win again. Facing down 4 cards in hand. I think we've seen either 2 or 3 Friend from Work, and I think 0 Sokovia chords. Really, really hiding Hulk deep in the back row.
Actually.
Yeah, that Odin has really reduced Hulk down to very
Dick as well.
the possibility of being taken out. But Nick's bringing a whole bunch of stuff out.
11/11.
Think we'll see that Mike Makes Right. It's a little bit
Power Man has a wound on.
a little bit loose with the potential to see a Sokovia.
Yeah, Dave's got 4 cards in hand. And yeah, he flashed it.
Okay.
Climbing first, and then
Might Makes Right Gargoyle.
Yeah, that Might Makes Right is happening.
on Gargoyle. So
Yeah, on Gargoyle.
we will see how this
So this will
goes.
do it. Does he
Going into
have a way of blocking?
Does he have it?
And there's Sokovia.
Yeah. Dang.
That is very rude, sir.
Ugh. It's rough. Can make a team attack on Odin, but Odin has 3 health. Odin's going to be tough to deal with. 2 wounds to give on Hulk. No Gilgamesh in the deck.
Odin has 3 wounds, right?
Yeah, Chet's asking how many Might Makes Right we've seen so far. 3, and I believe he has played 3.
I believe it's been 3, 2 or 3, at least 2.
Have to play an X-File. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9.
Now, if he paraglides, that gives Spider-Man flight.
I have 1.
Yep, and be able to safely get back to
And that's it.
Flash's Graveyard. I saw 2 Might Makes Right in there.
I played the one early, the one that came back.
Okay.
The one that played again just a little bit ago.
We might see a Mulder come down. I think they're considering what he should call here.
Gonna play Maria Hill.
Okay.
Gives her
Gonna
stealth.
play Fox.
Oh, yeah.
And there's Fox. But does he? Oh, he does. Is he going to risk bringing him up front?
I'm then gonna pay
Oh,
the
looks like he's
yellow
leaving him in the back there.
Cersei.
Probably the right call.
Cersei. Okay, I've got a Power Man.
Calling
Christie,
Cersei.
gone. Fall back.
Cersei. Yeah, pulling out his big threats. Another Might Mix right in hand. Pulling out those big threats, making it harder and harder for Nick to get to Spider-Man here.
Should have one other Cersei in the deck. I do.
If you have any more than that, I need to call a judge.
I know, right? Well, I mean, they are on the other line. It would not take long.
I want to phone a friend.
I had this other Might Mix right, and if I just had the second green, I literally would have just won the game because you wouldn't have been able to respond to the gargoyle attack. I was very sad. Very sad I didn't have the second green.
So he wipes out all the Cerseis.
What the characters one more time that you had in hand?
Huh?
What characters you have in hand? Power Man?
Power Man?
Another Power Man in hand.
Okay.
Hulk
Power Man,
and Christie.
Christie, and I saw a fallback and a Might Mix right in there.
Going at the Hulk with Maria Hill.
Going at the because she has
He's gone through most or all of his greens by this point, though.
Hill is a 6?
Yeah.
All right.
So Maria Hill's a 6.
I have none.
I also have none.
So you'll get
And
started.
Hulk is
Oh,
only a 3/3 because of Odin puts him at a base 1/1.
Odin exists.
Yep. So that'll be the fifth wound.
Fox at 6.
These guys are both at 1 to give.
Fox at 6.
Yeah, this matchup has been incredible.
Yeah, you got
Yeah, man, what a close set. Things are looking pretty promising for Spider-Man here with that Odin cleaning things up a bit. I'm not sure what we could see from Nick. He needs something to get back there, that back row. But I mean, Spider-Man is an 8/8. Man, you really got to bring it. An Academy. He really wanted a green.
Yeah, he needed that green for that might. So we saw Christie, we saw Hulk power up, and we saw
Another
Power
Power Man.
Man. So unless he pulled something big, preferably a defender, to help him take out Odin,
Play it face down.
or a big flyer.
Sharon Carter, Agent Trigger.
Okay.
We're gonna put that on the bottom.
Carter,
Okay.
we'll draw you a card. Is it a green?
Yeah, he moved the card, the agent down below.
Bottom. Try his luck with the other card.
We're gonna recruit
Ooh,
Christie.
yeah, I think this might be
We
it
got
then.
Christie coming.
He comes out.
Yeah, he's probably gonna try and play defensive. Hopefully, he can pull something big next.
We're gonna shoot Maria Hill with Christie.
That's good.
Christie takes out Maria Hill,
And pass the turn.
and
Draw
Nick
2.
passes.
I think there's a good chance we just see Spider-Man paraglide here and fly into the back.
Pay a red to strike
It'll
Hulk.
be pretty big
He pays the red to strike Hulk.
strike. Oh, and that does it.
Wow, that was incredible.
Oh man, what a series!
It came down to the very end wire there. All right, so we're gonna go ahead and unmute, jump in with these guys, have some conversation, see what was going on, and see what their thoughts are. So hang out.
Yeah. I basically my only out was getting another gargoyle in a green because I had a Might Mix
Yeah.
right in hand.
Yeah.
Hey, can you guys hear us?
Yes.
Hey, amazing games. This has been probably the best matchup we've seen
Yeah.
so far during the cup. Congratulations, David. Nick.
Yeah.
We're going to go back a little bit and kind of go over the games. But first off, Nick, what drew you to Mantle Hulk?
It's a character. All the characters I played in this tournament are characters I've built before that aren't like super meta that I just enjoy playing. And Show loses almost nothing from his old deck in Good vs. Evil. Thought it'd be fun. And so yeah, that's kind of what brought me to it.
And that first game, Spider-Man comes out with an incredible starting hand, drops the May Parker, and just seems to be just running the board. But you were able to stay in there and really fight trying to come back.
That's something. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, please.
That's something we kind of. I mean, the deck is kind of built really mid-rangey with the gargoyles, with the sticks, with the you level up, you get a big Show Hulk, you draw a bunch of cards, that kind of thing. And so like I knew I was getting my face pounded in early, but like just as long as I could hold on, hit one of my strong like swingy turns, and then kind of try to stabilize from there. And I almost got there game one.
Yeah, like you always had those cards that you needed, especially the Might Makes Right, the Gargoyle combo. You had some pretty big hitters there when you needed them.
Yeah.
So David, so Spider-Man MCU is brand new. It's only been out a couple months. Why build a deck around it?
So I actually tested this because I planned on the deck I planned on taking a Vegas regional.
Okay.
And then once that set wasn't out by then I was like, okay, the next set I could play Spider-Man, I'm gonna play it.
Sure. So that first game, you had an incredible hand to start with, but in the second game you didn't mulligan, and we were kind of curious what you started with. Did you have the 4 locations you needed? Because we didn't see May Parker that game.
Yeah, I had two locations. I had an Accord.
Okay, so it's the Sokovia that you were holding on to?
Yeah, well, Sokovia, I think I had there was something else I had. I think I had one friend from work. Yeah, I had a friend from work that game. So I had 2 plot twists. And then I had so yeah, that wasn't the plan of that game, but
and then the later game you missed climbing.
Yes.
So what immediately you realized that you didn't know what was going through your head?
I was like, man, I think I just cost myself the game right there.
But you were able to pull back through and ultimately take it.
Yeah, I think I made more aggressive moves than I normally would have if I didn't. Because I will tell, like, I gotta get this Iron Man out. And so I will play a location to buy for. So I think I did play a little more aggressive after that point because I thought I was way behind.
Yeah, it seemed actually for both of you guys, it seemed that you played aggressive. You could either play aggressive or defensive. No one was really making any major mistakes except for that one missed climb. But you guys, these 2 decks paired so well against each other. It was a ton of fun to watch. I mean, I think at least 2 of the games, it came down to the last wound.
Right. Yeah. Games 1 and game 3, but we're both just like on the last wound for both of us.
Yeah. So thank you very much for taking the time and joining us on the stream. Again, Nick, congrats on making top 8.
Hey, it was tons of fun.
And David, good luck for you with the next round.
Good luck, David. Go out and win this thing.
Okay, I'll try to.
And for everybody in chat, thank you very much for taking the time and joining us on this. We've had an absolute blast with the Quarantine Cup the last couple of weeks. Just for some housekeeping, the Spider-Man playmat that David's got in front of him is brand new. It's come out the last couple of weeks. You can find that at a local store or on upperdeckstore.com. We also got a set of Spider-Man sleeves. Then next month, we've got ourselves a Thanos playmat and Thanos snap sleeves coming out. And we've got more stuff coming out almost every month for the rest of the year. Also on upperdeckblog.com, we've got our Fantastic Battles card previews we've been working on. This Wednesday will be the 5th and final for the Fantastic Battles. And then we have Fantastic Battles releasing next week. And we're going to be trying something new next week. So we'll have a little more information on that early next week. So stay tuned to that. And then immediately after that, we get right into Herald and showing off even more cards. Caleb, do you have any questions for the guys?
No, I think you covered it all. Just what a great series of games. Like seriously awesome gameplay. Definitely the best match that we've looked at so far for the Quarantine Cup. So yeah, just an awesome series of games.
Hey,
Well,
what's up,
thank you
guys?
very
It's
much
C-Stacks here
for joining us, guys. Caleb, thank you very much for creating the Quarantine Cup. We've had an absolute blast these last couple of weeks. Can you tell everybody where they can find you and C-Stacks?
Yeah, you guys can find me on YouTube. It's C_Stacks. I got all kinds of versus content, podcast, gameplay, box openings, Quarantine Cup related content.
And we've got the links in the chat for anybody who wants to just jump right in there.
Yeah, awesome, and a lot of Fantastic Four content lately too, because we're all real excited for to have Fantastic Four in the game. So yeah, go check me out.
Awesome, guys. Thank you very much again, and everybody stay safe, and we will catch you next time.